computer. All right, we're good to go. All right, cool. Welcome, everybody. Dan Waymura here for the CEO Push Press, and we're working within this gym survival guide, trying to help gyms get through this Corona craziness right now. I've got with me today Chris Badgett from Lifter LMS. What I've seen around the internet a lot lately is people not fully sure how to use the technology of Zoom or other type of webinar and remote conferencing solutions and softwares to run remote coaching classes. And it's going to be kind of important if you want to try and do some kind of remote group or personal training to learn how to leverage Zoom. It's a pretty fast and simple way to do it. I've never actually done this before, and Chris just walked me through how to do it in about 5 minutes. I screwed it up once, and he corrected me and got it going again. So it's pretty easy, and Chris is going to walk you guys through right now exactly how you can use Zoom to do remote coaching in your gym right now. So I want you to stay all the way to the end. He's going to go over not only how to do group, like done with you, group plans, but done for you, and private training and nutrition coaching and goal setting type work. And he's also going to go through Zoom as a technology platform, like what type of plans that they have, which ones you're going to want to use, and you know what type of plan you're going to want to sign up for to do what you're going to do. All right. So if you guys have any questions, you can use the Q&A button kind of down on the bottom. And if you catch this after it's done running live, don't worry, we're going to keep it up streaming live, and we'll throw it up on YouTube too, so you can use this as a resource going forward. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Chris. Chris is the CEO of Lifter LMS. They use Zoom a ton for remote coaching. That's kind of what his business does. And so we're going to have Chris take it over and explain to everyone here how they can use Zoom to run their remote coaching.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having me, Dan. It's great to be back with your community. I was on your podcast recently, Gym OS, which was awesome. Thanks for having me. We talked a little bit about these issues or the opportunities we're going to talk about here. This was before this dramatic change of events, but it's a good companion piece to what we're talking about today. But my heart goes out to the gym owner and the personal trainers out there who have closed their doors because you know, group gatherings of a certain size are discouraged now, but that doesn't mean the show has to stop. There is technology tools. You can actually run a Zoom meeting or a webinar from even just a smartphone. Really, the simplest way I would recommend doing it is all you need to do is put a laptop on a stool in front of where you're going to be kind of leading a class, and just think back to the TV, television, fitness, like DVDs or whatever, like P90X and all these like just more video-based training. You can do that live. Everybody can be a broadcaster now, and Zoom has made it super easy. If you got a laptop or a smartphone and Zoom, a little steady place to put it, you can pull it off. You don't have to get into fancy microphones or fancy video cameras. As long as you stay relatively close to your laptop, it's going to be fine. You're going to get the message across. If you need to come up close to the camera and get intimate with some ideas and whatnot, you can, but you can also step back and do your thing. And I just want to stress, you do not have to have fancy video and audio equipment to pull it off. That stuff's already in your pocket on your phone, and better, a laptop's even a little better. But there's really two ways to do it. You can do private one-on-one coaching. Like you had mentioned, Dan, there's the personal training kind of feedback on form and like just holding somebody accountable, doing the reps and sets. There's also the nutrition coaching and the other goal setting and all that other stuff you can do in a one-on-one Zoom room. To get a little bit more advanced, if you want to do group coaching online, you can do this from your home. You can have, 5, 10, 20, 500 people at home in the audience with you through what's called a webinar. Zoom has meetings, and it also has in the higher plans, which we're going to look at, something called a webinar. And that's where more of a one-to-many situation where multiple people are in the audience, and you can even have co-instructors or trainers with you who are helping facilitate and lead the class. You can even bring in somebody also from home somewhere else to just kind of run the webinar and do the tech part. If you want to just be as hands-on as possible, that's possible too. But those are the two kind of styles, one-to-one and one-to-many, both possible with Zoom. So I can get into like looking at Zoom, or is there anything you want me to talk about, Dan, before I go into looking at the Zoom website?
Yeah, first thing that I saw a lot of people questioning, I think the one-to-one's a little bit easier because that would just be a one-to-one Zoom, or it could be a Hangout or any type of call.
Yeah,
The one-to-many group fitness training is the interesting one I think we want to start with. And I think it also requires a special plan and a little bit more stuff than just doing a one-to-one. So let's actually cover that first. And then at the end, if we have time, we'll do the one-on-one stuff.
totally. Yeah, I'm going to bring up my screen. I'm going to share with you. So I'm on the Zoom website right here. And let's see. Yeah, I'm not logged in right now. And over here on plans and pricing, you can see they have a free plan. So this is, last time I looked, yeah, it's 40 minutes free. So if you want to start for free, now this is only going to work for the one-on-one, like meetings, not webinars. You can do that. Let's see, which one of these has the webinar option? This one, a lot of it has to do with like how many people. Like a lot of gym owners probably aren't going to get 100 people in there at a time. Like when I run a webinar, for example, I usually get between, I get sometimes I kind of fall between the 1 and 300. So I'm on this plan. And then you see these add-ons down here. These are the webinars right here. So keep in mind, Zoom is a very versatile tool. Like people use it for like boardroom conferences and all this. That's what a Zoom room is and all this stuff. Don't worry about it. All you need is a regular Zoom meeting and the webinar add-on, which is $40 a month. And then you just need to look at how many people do you think you're going to get in there. If you're going to have less than 100, it's going to be this plan, which is going to be $15 plus $40 a month. So we're looking at $55 a month to get started with the Zoom technology for coaching online. And then it's really only just, let's see, it looks like it's just a little bit more for $5 more. And now you're up to 300 people. And then you see how you can keep going up.
Yeah.
You can go huge. I mean, if famous instructor, Zoom will scale out with you a little bit.
That's cool. For most gyms right now in this pandemic, they probably just need a 100 people plan. But who
Yep.
knows? Maybe this takes off for these gyms and they want to, scale up 300, 500 people.
That's the little surprising secret that's sitting inside here is what happens when you're not limited by geography for your instruction.
Right.
I mean, it's really wild what can happen. But I'm going to go log into my Zoom account, and then we're going to look at it. And we're going to see how easy it is to set up one of these webinars. So let me jump in here. So I'm jumping in my account here, and you can see over here, I have meetings and I have webinars. So if we're going to do a group one, we want to do a webinar. So I was talking to Dan about how I just use this same, every time I go live on Zoom, or I'm sorry, live and I'm streaming to Facebook, I have this one live stream recurring webinar that I set up like 3 years ago that I continue to reuse. So we'll start a new one and show you how easy it is to set up. So this is going to be my group class. And to keep things organized, you can create a new one for different groups of people if you need to stay organized on who has access to what. But
Yeah, would you recommend they create one of these for all, like let's say a gym has 10 classes a day.
Yep.
Would you recommend they create one webinar per class, or just one webinar and all classes share the same link? That seems easier.
It is easier. The thing is, it depends on how strict you want to be about who has access what time, and which then ties into like payment and stuff like that.
Right.
Definitely, it's easiest to manage just one. It's always the same link. Just come at your right time, and that can also work even if you are sharing it and people are only supposed to go to certain ones. You can always have somebody moderating the attendees list to make sure the people who paid are in there and that kind of thing as well.
Right. Okay.
Um,
Let's always lean towards the simplest solution for now.
okay. So the simplest thing I like to do is I check this recurring webinar button, and then I change this to no fixed time. And this just means when I create this, it's going to be a Zoom room that I can run webinars from at any time now into the future. And the link will always be the same. So I run a weekly call with some of my people, and they use the same link at the same time every Thursday for years now. I don't make people require a password. I like to have the video on for the host. The panelists are like, if I bring in like co-instructors or trainers in my gym, I'm probably going to want them to, they really in fitness, you have to have your video on. You can allow both. Like people can just join a webinar by phone, but in a fitness scenario, you might, you could just allow both, but just keep in mind, you're probably going to want people just fully coming in through their smartphone or their computer. You can have the Q&A on, and you can record the webinar automatically just to make it super easy. I like to record it on the computer. This means that after the webinar is over, it downloads to your computer, but you need to keep your computer open. And this creates a higher quality video. The absolute easiest thing is to just record it in the cloud, and then it's going to show up inside your Zoom account on zoom.us here in the recordings area right here. So once I click schedule here, that's it. And all I have to do is take this link right here and share it with my people, and let them know what time to come. Some people do that through like a calendar invite. You know, they'll use a Google Calendar or whatever and start inviting all the people that are supposed to be in at that time and whatnot. And it's as simple as that. If you want people to register, you can copy the invitation. Or let's see, where is the, oh, I did no registration required.
That's fine. Again, we'll lean towards the easiest solution. So for
Yeah,
gyms, like we're gonna say you like, why have this capped? We'll just go no registration required. Only send that link to your clients, right? Or
yeah, and that's what I like to keep it simple too. Like if I wanted to be strict, I could keep changing the link and put passwords on stuff, but I just keep it open. And if I see somebody in like a session that didn't pay for it or whatever, maybe I'll talk to them later or something like that. I'm not that worried about
you know, it's actually kind of cool because if somebody jumps in that's not a member, you can always talk to them after. And
yeah, that's a good point. And that's really all there is to it. It's really hard to actually demo the Zoom software itself while inside of a Zoom. But if we go over to the, let's just find the Zoom documentation here. Documentation.
Yeah, so for the rest of this, maybe I can take some screenshots of what you walked me through. But now I'm kind of getting it. Now that I think it would actually be cool. Like you can stream each class directly into your Facebook group. Like I'm streaming this into the Gym Survival Guide group. And that way it will actually notify your members every time a class starts. So if they want from home to join, they can actually join through Facebook through this this webinar.
Yeah, let me just go over just the components of a Zoom webinar. Once you're inside, you have a mute button. You can control which microphone you're using. The simplest one is just to use your laptop or your phone. You can choose the video that's connected. You can turn your video on and off. You can manage the participants. There's a chat which people use and a Q&A box. You can share your screen like I was doing. There's a place if you need to grab your invite link just from while you're inside the webinar and send it out through social media or through an email, you can do that. And there's a record button. And then there's a stream to social media button. And you can go to either Facebook or YouTube. One of those, you can't do both at the same time, but one of them. And that's it. that's your tools to run a webinar.
Yep. So I can probably post some screenshots along with this explaining all, like showing all those things, because you guys can't see the interface that we're actually recording in right now. It's actually really easy. It's just kind of weird the first time you do it. But I think after you do it the first time, it'll be pretty simple for most of you guys to get. For the one-on-one stuff, it's pretty much the same. You want to take them through that really quick? Because you don't need the webinar function for that. You just need meetings, right?
Yeah, and you can even do that. I'll just pull that up, pull my screen back up. You can do the webinar. I'm going to sign out here. With the free, or I'm sorry, the meeting you can do with this free account as long as it's less than 40 minutes, or just get on the starter plan. Like if you're going to start with just the meetings one-on-one, that's only going to set you back $15 a month. And then when you do those, all you have to do is, it's even simpler to set up. See how there's meetings over here and webinars? Over here on meetings, I'm going to schedule a new meeting. I'm going to do my training session with Frank. And I like to do the same thing. Keep it super simple, recurring meeting, no fixed time. I'm not going to make him use a password. Let's just assume that I don't want him to have to figure out how to turn his video camera on. So I'm just going to have it on for him. And I'm going to allow him to get into the meeting if I'm running a little late, so he could be there waiting. And I'm going to record the meeting automatically to the cloud so that I have a copy if he ever needs the replay, or I want to stick that inside of some kind of coaching area or something for him. And that's it. And this is Frank's meeting link to join the one-on-one session. And the interface for running a one-on-one is just even simpler. There's a video camera, a mute button, and a screen share button, and that's about it.
Very cool. Cool, man. Well, thank you, Chris, for jumping on and sharing some of this quick and easy information for gym owners to run remote classes right now. I am beginning to think more and more that this remote coaching option is something that gym owners need to start exploring. Like you said, if you remove geography and the spatial component from, like in your gym, you only have so many square feet. If you can remove that from the equation, you can scale your gym business way bigger. And this is an interesting way to dip your toe into it without doing a huge shift of anything, right? Like it's a pretty simple way of doing it. Of course, there's better tools that if you really want to get into remote coaching, there's better tools you can probably use that cost a ton more, that will keep you organized a little better. But if you're going to, dip your toes into it and see if this works in this time of flux where you might go back to how you're doing it and you might not, I think Zoom's a pretty good way of doing it. What would you say, Chris?
Absolutely. And this is not, I mean, this is not new in the sense like the Peloton bike thing and everything. Like people are training at home. People have watched these DVDs, and maybe they might even be more comfortable, especially in the privacy of their own home. In some cases, I know for some people it's a social event and they like getting out and they like getting in the zone, but you never know. Like doing workouts and training from home is not a new thing. And the tools to make it accessible for gym owners and training have never been more easier to kind of get into.
Yeah. The way I see it, it's kind of like, I don't know if you guys are aware, but like there's only a couple hotel chains that own all the hotels. And they'll own everything from, the motel version all the way to the super high-end boutique version. And they're basically just creating products that fit all the different avatars, right? Someone who wants to spend a ton of money for a hotel and someone who doesn't, and everything in between. And that's kind of what you can be doing for your gym. Like there's some people who want to try what you're doing, but they don't want to be in a social community yet. And there's some people who want the socialness of it. Some people want private training, some people don't. Some people want it in the gym, some people want it out. And developing additional tools like this will allow you to kind of expand horizontally what you can sell. So, all right. Well, I think we can wrap it at that. I mean, I want to thank you so much for taking your time to come in and talk to our gym owners. I know in general, it really can't benefit you in any way other than the fact that you like to help, and we really appreciate that. Like we did say in the podcast, there actually is a good way that gym owners could be leveraging Lifter LMS for their for their needs. If you haven't heard that podcast, go check it. Do a search for the Gym OS podcast. Chris Badgett was on it a few episodes ago. Actually, one of my favorite podcast episodes. It was really, really good. But yeah, there's a lot more you guys can be doing as a gym and as a business to be earning revenue than just having group classes going. And that's kind of what we want you to do, is to start exploring and understanding that stuff. All right. Okay.
Awesome.
Well, anyways, again, in the wake of all this Corona stuff that's going on, I plan on having a whole bunch of experts in this group doing like a shotgun 15, 30-minute live, just knowledge dump of something that they have. I have coming up John Briggs, the author of Profit First for Gyms. We're going to talk to Nicole Aucoin from Healthy Steps Nutrition. And I'm lining up a bunch of people to just help you guys get through this right now. As you know, I'm a big proponent of you guys are going to be able to weather the storm, get through it, and we're going to get you lined up to become even better when we turn the corner on this. So anyways, thank you again, Chris, and we'll sign out now and say goodbye to everybody. Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Dan.